What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs. Now, we are looking like a bull flag temporarily. We look like we're breaking out of the wedge on SPX, but we do have a lot going on this week. I've been talking about the debt ceiling past couple days, probably even the past week or so, 2 weeks. But nonetheless, this week is the week to see where the debt ceiling goes. So that's going to be a battle all week that we're going to be dealing with. The volatility has not gone away. It's something I've been talking about. We haven't even made it till October to get through the volatility. So that's something we have this week and something we need to keep in mind. Again, there's just going to be this battle back and forth. There was the rates jumped this morning, so tech sold off. So it's been an interesting day. Tesla has been absolute monster today. It did dive this morning. There was also an email about Elon Musk and cars, especially that deliveries that were coming out. There's a lot going on. I know Google got news as well today that they're taking some money off of essentially what they're charging the client. To try to be more competitive with your Amazons and your Microsofts. So Google took a bit of a dive, but bounced right back. So it's a really interesting spot this week. Again, volatility, there's got to be something every week. I think we're going to have, if not after this week, I think after the whole determining if the government's going to shut down or not and the whole debt ceiling thing, if that happens, which is supposed to be on Thursday, so if that does happen, I think if it passes, I think we can run on Friday. If it shuts down, we can probably crumble. So ultimately what I'm watching is I'm really watching this staying above this 50. So I don't want it to drop below this 44.18 mark. If it does, I think we could see some pretty heavy selling from that point. It took us, I was actually surprised that we popped back over that so quickly and then in such a bullish manner that it's that I think the market wants to run. So ultimately we have to see what happens with this debt ceiling and the government shutdown this week. That's essentially what we're dealing with. There's a lot of data out there. The data really doesn't matter at this point. Even the Fed members, Kaplan actually came out and said October 8th he will be retiring. So that's something else to keep in mind. Oh, and also Tesla got more good news. They filed for essentially a trademark patent on a new ATV, electric ATV. So that's interesting news there. So it's more fuel to the fire for Tesla tomorrow. But ultimately, yeah, the market is, the banks have been running good. Value's been running good. Tech started picking up towards the end of the day. It started pumping. But after hours, the market in itself is starting to sell a bit. We do have the Evergrande stuff. Could be contagion. A lot of people just don't understand how it could affect the markets, the U.S. market. But being said, there's been a lot of bigger people close to the situation, bankers that are essentially saying that it won't have any direct effect. Powell said it won't have any direct effect. People will still be concerned because they don't know if that's true or not. So there's still always that and something we'll be seeing in the future. But being said, tomorrow, ultimately, I don't have a big list because I want to see what the market does. We might just sit and chop. I did take a position in Roblox because they got news today that they actually paid for that lawsuit. So that's why it sold off, but it hit the 200 and bounced right back. So I'm looking for this to at least try to attempt the 82 mark, if not push up. If the market starts ripping, I could see Roblox going with it. Roblox is building a new base. It was at 73. Now it just seems 78 has been a solid base. So I've been watching that. I want to see what the market essentially does in the coming days. We might just continue to chop, have that morning that morning rush, which that first hour normally there's some good action, and after that the market's pretty much dead for the most part. Tesla being the exception. Tesla had a monster day today. It is selling off after hours, but typically especially with that news about the ATV, I don't know how much is really going to push this up, but it is more news to fuel the fire that's already going on with Tesla. It did hit 800, so that psychological number. So I want to see, we're going to at least get an attempt to try to hit 800 again tomorrow, I think. But then from that point, we're going to have to find out what exactly happens. Google, like I said, had some news as well that they were cutting some of their essential profit to be more competitive. So that's been a lot of whipsaw back and forth here. Facebook pumped a little bit today, but we'll have to really see. This is still essentially concerning the whole Apple ads, and if there are actually, I think the next earnings for Facebook will be really telling on what is going on with that, and see how dramatic of a impact the whole Apple ads really is. Apple's just been kind of struggling. I know they come out with a new phone this week, I believe, launch. So we'll see how that plays out, but it's been pretty stagnant. Palantir, it's playing range for the most part. Again, I want to keep an eye on this one. If it does come back down into the 50, if it does break below the 20 at this point, I do expect it to come lower. It's been holding the 50 fairly well, though, so I want to see how that plays out. SQ is one I was in for a little bit today, and then it just kind of really rattled around. I thought it was going to sell. I thought the market was going to sell, so I'm no longer in this, but I'm looking to get back into Square, possibly. Snap, I want Snap down, so I think Snap will probably come down a little bit more before earnings. One thing I want to see, though, this coming in tomorrow, not only watch Tesla, but e-commerce is looking like it's starting to break out again. As long as Amazon could break and hold above this 34.21, I think we could really start running. Shop, it really needs to break above this 1474 mark or 75 mark. If you can break that, I think a good possibility to start running back to all-time highs. SC is one I've been mentioning a couple different times. It retested the trend break, so this could be a good potential tomorrow. The thing is a lot of these patterns aren't playing out because there's been some news event or something going on that kind of just breaks the pattern. And so I can see there has been a lot of people getting frustrated about that, and I completely understand that. It's caught me a couple different times. You try to play a pattern, and then something news hits, and you think it's going to sell, and then it pops out, and it's extremely bullish. And in one candle, it jumps 30 handles. So it's something to be mindful and watch out. So I've only played puts, I think, a couple different times lately. A majority of all my plays have been calls, only because I know the strength. You see the strength almost every day. When we do sell, it gets bought up quick. So it's better just to wait than to jump into puts and try to play it that way, because puts, it seems as soon as you hit that right zone, it wicks almost instantaneously. So it's something to definitely be mindful of and watch out for. Lemonade was one I mentioned yesterday. It actually popped today. I missed this one by like 50 cents. It didn't tag me in. So nonetheless, I want to see where this is tomorrow, possibly get in this. Again, if the market starts selling, I'll just wait and see what happens. But if it does start to build and consolidate around the 68 mark, is something I'm watching. Let me see what else. I am in Wish. This is one I've been in since Friday. I do like the descending wedge here on the daily. It really needs to break above this essentially 664 mark. If you can break above that, there's a couple of different resistances. But if it can break 772 from that point, I can get a gap fill up to about $9, which is kind of what I'm looking at. I want to see where this goes. But if it's a big wedge break, it looks like it's been building for a while. So at least try to attempt to go reclaim at least 3/4 of what this is. This descending wedge is typically what it does. So we'll see how high it can climb from that point. Again, there's a lot of resistance, but I wanted to give this one a shot to see what it had. TTD was one I also talked about. I didn't take a position in this, although it does look really good still here on the daily. I think a lot of these are kind of waiting. This might actually just chop here until we get answer for Thursday, and then may start to run. So this is one I typically will play shares in on some of my other scalps or other positions that I have. I'll put this kind of in the background, grab some shares, and then play it from that point. So, but your other ones, your Apples, your Microsofts, they haven't been looking so hot. They've been kind of under support and just holding. I think they might just stay in that flight pattern until earnings comes around and then see where it goes from there. Facebook, I really want to see if this can break above this 355 mark and hold. If it can, I think we can reattempt to try to make our way back up. Again, a lot of resistance. That selling from last week has really kind of pushed us way below a lot of different resistances. So it's just trying to get back above that. But good. One thing to keep an eye on with Facebook is once it starts gaining steam, it goes fairly quickly. So just be mindful of that. But that is pretty much what I got for you guys today. Didn't want to make this video too long. It's actually the second time I made this video. So, but nonetheless, manage risk. If you don't need to play, you don't have to play. It is going to be pretty choppy, I think, this week with all the different debates, stuff going on. There's going to be a lot of announcements. People are going to come on and talk, essentially talk garbage about the other party to try to get this thing with the government shutdown fixed. Most of the time, they do actually figure it out. So we just got to be patient and wait and see. Be more patient than normal this week. And then hopefully after this week, we should be good from that point going into earnings, which is towards the end of October for big tech. So being said, if you've made it this far, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. Till next time, I'll see you guys later.